Welcome back to Moving Forward here on Win TV. With us in studio is Councillor for Pitti Valley, Cocorite, Mr. Wazim Daniel. Now, before the break, we said we're opening up the phone line, so you can call us on 665-6278. Any questions you have related to local government and local government reform, constitutional reform, feel free to call us in. We have our councillor here with us who is more than willing to answer any questions you may have, or listen to any suggestions and explain, just the validity and the strength of those suggestions. Wazim, one of the things that we asked you earlier in why did you join politics and get involved, and you mentioned a little bit that it's a lot to do with wanting to be part of the change and making change. You want to stress a little bit on that?
As I said before, this country has been misrepresented for many years. That is a fact. I'm not going to hold any, regrets for saying that. But politics itself, as I said, I was very skeptical in getting involved because, they have this stigmatism towards it that it is a dirty game. And corruption, you name it. But as I said before, as I stated earlier, I think there's simple strategies and policies that just has to be implemented. And they just need the persons, again, who just have to step out of the box. Just because you are a minister or an MP and you go in within a code of conduct or a job description or you name it. I mean, sometimes we just have to step out of the box. I know you highlighted earlier on about what it is I did during the floods. And we probably have to emphasize on that is that I don't consider myself as, someone to be looked up. Not, as I said, picture you're a normal person. You get elected, everybody has to, worship you, ask for appointments and so forth. I hate it. I just want to get the job done and get the services delivered to the people. And that is my main objective in getting involved in politics. That was just to try and help people and trying to get it correct and trying to represent our nation and bring it to first-class status, as we say, as we always claim to say and we want. But I mean, if you're not committed and you're not compassionate as leaders, as political leaders, well, then we will fall short again.
Now, you touched on it. We spoke about the local government reform, but constitutional reform, and you told us during the break that that was one of the main reasons you chose to get involved in politics.
Actually, before you answer that, Wazim, so think about it. Let's take this call. Hello, good afternoon. Well, good evening. Seem to have lost that call. Sorry, caller. Remember the numbers is 665-6278. Hello, good night.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi, good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Go right ahead, caller.
Yes, good night. I wasn't hearing you. But the major financial mechanism for local government authorities at city and borough status have traditionally been property tax. Property tax outside these areas went to central government because central government funded local government services outside of these areas. About 5 years ago, an interministerial cabinet committee examined transferring property tax from the inland revenue to local government authorities. I don't know if you are aware of this.
I've heard of that, yes.
And the members of this interministerial committee strongly recommended the transfer of the inland revenue property tax to the regional authorities. For some strange reason, the government of the day produced a property tax law which did totally the opposite. They transferred property tax from the cities and boroughs to central government. Do we have any idea what this government is about to do? Because there have been only two statements from government. One, that it was going to go back to the Land and Building Taxes Act, but freeze the assessment. Now, that would appear to be more stupid, because coming out of the last property tax debate, it indicated that some people was paying 2% of what they're supposed to pay, and people paying 100%. How could you go back to that? The second statement the government has made is they want to go back to 1991 values. This again do not make sense because reassessment in property tax is not to raise revenue, but to take account in changes in infrastructure. If you want to raise property tax, you're supposed to raise the rates. What is your council's position? Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, caller.
Well, and again, I must agree with the council and with the caller. As I was saying early on, lack of resources. Since I have been within the Diego Martin Regional Corporation, we're supposed to have 3 building inspectors, 3 engineers, which will take that position in terms of receiving or trying to, well, first of all, there are clauses and there are laws stating within our act that we must receive property taxes, we must receive taxes for persons who are building illegally, because that was a major concern during the floods. You know, there's so much illegal building on the hillsides and so forth.
Right.
Not only in the hillsides, but within the middle class areas.
So you're blocking drainage.
Blocking drainage, correct. The problem is that resources again. We have been asking local government for the longest while to facilitate us with the personnel that we need to take on these jobs, but we are still waiting. So what do? The councils do not have the authority to outtake these jobs.
So you're an advocate for the taxes going directly to local?
Correct. Because again, what you're sending to central government, and then we are now requesting from central government. We still have to go through the red tape. Send it direct to local government. And again, there's transparency and accountability far at a higher percentage than going to central government. I'm saying it as it is. So it needs to be sent to local government.
We do have another call, and I want you to answer when we come back from this call. The second part of the caller's question, where he asked about your position with whether we should revert to the old law or make any amendments. Will we take this call? Hello, good night.
Good night, ladies and gentlemen.
Good evening.
What the council is saying is right, because in certain instances, if you want anybody, like if your neighbor has a tree and it's over your house or anything like that, and they don't want to chop it down, I mean, the local council, the county council, whoever, should have employees, whoever it is, to come and chop the tree from over your place. But when you see some kind of bad weather take place now, and the entire tree fall down, it's a different kettle of fish. It does a lot of damage. And there seems to be nobody to do something proactive rather than to do something reactive other than that. And that is where a lot of loss of finances and money goes down the drain, because when you got to do something proactively, you have to do it after the damage already has occurred. And with regards to this constitutional reform business, I think this is a long time in the waiting. During the previous campaigning of this government, there was stated that all these things would have come into place, the right of recall and all these other things, people in working for you and all that. But I haven't seen it come to fruition as yet, and I'm hoping, the government could have put this in place at this moment in time. I'm campaigning for this at this moment in time, that, we could see this before this government 5 years is up, and they could bring this into some kind of measure at the local council level and step it up into the government level after that. Thank you.
Thank you very much, caller. Wasim, do you want to elaborate on caller's comments?
Well, he basically said everything I stated, and again, it is common sense. We need the resources. I mean, you cannot send in a mechanic to fix a car and he has no tools. And sometimes we are left without tools. And that is why simple projects cannot be completed, because, again, we lack the resources. That is the bottom line, that's the fact. The other question was speaking if should we
revert to the old land and building tax.
Land and building tax.
Or do we need to amend that?
Again, I wouldn't speak out of context, because again, I'm not very familiar with the bill, but we do need to amend it. And again, they will have certain discrepancies that will, again, because for instance the taxes or the laws that were good then, we are now increasing in population in Diego Martin especially rapidly. So some things has to be amended. So,
well, from my end, I certainly think the laws need to be revisited. There needs to be some amendments. We can't revert just to the old law. Of course, we had the Axe the Tax campaign when the former regime tried to raise the taxes to some astronomical levels. Certainly, we're not advocating that. I'm not advocating that at all. But we need to be realistic. The old taxes, in some cases, ridiculously low. We need to acknowledge that. And in any developing country, we need to we need to collect our taxes, and we need those taxes need to be value-based based on the properties.
Property, yes.
Certainly, a new mechanism has to be worked out.
Some sort of valuation scheme has to be implemented.
It has to be something that, you know, it can't be an astronomical figure as the last regime was trying to implement.
It really
But certainly,
was.
I am an advocate. We need to amend that Land and Building Taxes Act, and we need to start back collecting.
It is something that, I mean, it is a big chunk of the funding for Trinidad and Tobago that is, you know, it's been on a pause for quite some time. It's over 2 years. There's no land and building tax of any sort being collected by locals. So, you know, you're losing a lot of revenue. You're talking about billions of dollars that could be going towards infrastructure in the local government, councils.
Going back to the community.
Going back to the community,
And, you know, I just want to touch something again as part of me saying again the correct thing. You know, collecting taxes, and what I've heard very frequently on the airways during the floods, residents from the lower areas saying, you know, the government have to blame the squatters. It's not the squatters alone. And let me make this clear, it's not the squatters alone. We go into the middle class areas, and there are persons who extended their property on the drains. So when the corporation goes to try to access these drains, and you know they're not moving it.
Yeah, but
so it's not only
that
that,
has
it's
been a
whole-
recurring problem. You know, everyone builds without town and country approval, without the regional
And you know,
corporation.
That's a problem by
it will be easily said by a caller or someone that, you know, well then let us enforce the law. But then again, it goes back to what I was saying. We don't have the resources.
Yes.
And we have been requesting the resources.
We do have a call. Hello, good night.
Hi, good evening, caller. You're live on air.
Hello?
Hi.
Good night.
Good night, caller.
You seem to be misinformed as to the reason for low property tax assessment. It has nothing to do with the law. The Municipal Corporations Act has provisions for revision of the values on a 3-year basis. The Land and Building Taxes Act had provisions for the revenue officer to keep the road true and correct. In 1970, when they tried to do it and updated the valuation, the then government reverted all the assessments for residential properties. When it was attempted in San Fernando in 1978 for commercial and other properties than residential, again, the then government reverted the old assessment and stopped the reassessment of properties unless they were improved or added to, with no mechanism in place to determine when they were improved. So changing the law has nothing to do with it. It has to do with politicians not preventing from public servants carrying out their lawful functions. Thank you.
Michael.
Well, interesting comment.
Actually, we do have another call, so we're going to comment on that. Hello, good night, caller.
Yeah, good night. I just want to take this opportunity to thank Councillor Daniel for paving the Mount Coco Road, and I hope that you will continue to be there next time, and I wish him all the best.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, caller.
Okay, Michael, so we go back to our previous call.
Land and Building Taxes Municipal Corporations Act. I mean, certainly if the mechanism is there, and I'm not that familiar with the Municipal Corporations Act, I must confess.
Same with me.
Right? But if the mechanism is there for periodic reviews of the taxes, and the problem is not necessarily with the law, but the enforcement of the law, well, then certainly that is something else that has to be looked at. But, you know, we need to recognize it's just not residential. It's not only residential or commercial properties. We have agricultural properties as well. We need to send in persons to, let's put it this way. People have been paying taxes on agricultural lands at reduced rates, but they now use those properties for commercial. So we need to send in, it's not, and the caller is right, it's not just about amending the laws, but we have to enforce it. We have to send in persons to confirm the land usage of these places, and then we take it from there. We were speaking prior to the last two callers about town and country planning, the lack thereof, people building as they want. And that, I mean, our callers, our viewers would remember, we had the Minister of Planning with us a couple of weeks ago.
About a month ago, we had Dr.
He promised that this month, they would be rolling out a land usage policy. So we're waiting on that. What he promised us was that it would be a total review of the current land usage in terms of bringing it up to date to the current land usage, and then developing the laws accordingly from there.
We do have another call. Hello, good night. Hello, good night.
Good night, miss. And the panel, the two young gentlemen sitting there. Now, I saw a sign there moving forward. I want to talk about moving forward. I am so happy to see young people like you all sitting there on the screen. I am sitting here looking at you all now, and the type of discussion you're carrying on there and the way you look, like if it's some promotable thing to the country, and I will support that. Thank you very much. But what I want to say is that people must be a little earnest in this country, Trinidad and Tobago, for we to go forward. They are not earnest people living. If you look at the news, if you look at the thing, there are some big organization that is forming all sort of thing and breaking down the country, sending the little children astray and all of these things. This is not love. A country cannot survive and move forward without love. And the background of love, the foundation of love, is send your children to get religious teaching. Tell your children to say good morning, good evening, because this crime and all this thing won't break out in a week and 2 weeks and a month. It'll take some little time. Mm-hmm. So when we are moving forward, I support moving forward. Because since I was a little boy, this kind of thing that's going on in this country, since I just had about 14, 12 years, I'm 65 years now, and the definition it's going the same way. Some people die. They're living with this kind of vinage, and they die in it, and they never get nothing from it. So I am asking the public of Trinidad and Tobago, leave off this and let us practice love to each other and feelings for each other, and that is moving forward, and the country going to run better. The government will spend less money in all around all these things that are going wrong and things. I don't want to mention it here. So thank you very much, and I
thank you very much
for carrying on this.
I would just like to add to that too. It's not only love as well as respect and being our brother's keeper. Yeah. I always emphasize on that. If it is we lack respect, we have meaning for nothing. And being our brother's keeper, you know, sometimes we look, especially in the communities, you will see a family 2 houses away, you know, cannot provide for their families financially, and the family next door will say, you know what, I have 2 children of my own. I don't have time for that. I have my problems already. We have to stop thinking like that. We have to be our brother's keeper. We have to go out and assist. Whatever means necessary, we have to get it done. And in terms, when it is we get that love and respect, then we could move forward. And I totally agree with the caller.
All right. We have run out of time, and it's excellent that we actually ended on a very positive note in getting, you know, some inspirational advice from not only our councillor but our callers. Yeah. So thank you very much, callers, for your input. Some key points raised, especially with regard to reform and constitutional reform. And I will, when I do get a chance, look into that Municipal Act.
Municipal Corporations
Act. Corporations Act, so that we could, you know, really find out a lot more about whether or not we can get the valuations done, the systematic 3-year valuations on our property, and, you know, we do have an input in our constitutional reform, and, you know, get some more feedback on these issues. But Councillor Daniel, thank you very much for being here with us. It is a pleasure to have you on Moving Forward, and we hope to see you on the show very, very soon. And we do hope that we don't have to hear about any more flooding in Diego Martin and hear you having to dive into muddy waters again.
Once I get the job done, then I wouldn't be here. So I just think they will get off and start getting things done.
We hope so. Go ahead, you with your closing.
First of all, I'd like to again thank the host of the show, and again, I'd like to thank the Congress City people, especially for facilitating the show to the public. And I'm glad I've got the opportunity to actually discuss some of the key points and some of the disadvantages of local government. So I thank you once again.
Thank you, Wazim. Good night, viewers. Have an enjoyable night and a safe week. See you next week.
Good night.